All right, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Um, I am going to kind of go over all my thoughts after finally seeing episode 9. And I figured now in the times that we're living in, it'd be nice to talk about something upbeat, uplifting, and positive. So here we go. I hadn't seen episode 9 because with being disabled recently, I wasn't able to go to the movie theaters and actually see it. So, luckily, it came out early on Vudu. I was able to buy it and have watched it now. And I have a lot of positives about the movie, some just general happiness about some things that I had seen. I don't even think anymore it's worth going over if there's anything that I either didn't like or whatnot. Granted, it's not about what I don't like. It's kind of like I wish they had maybe, done more of, maybe, or done less of. But, again, going back to the whole current situation we're living in, I'm just going to talk about the upbeat stuff because to me, there was a lot of it. And it's been interesting because now that you can watch this trilogy as a one piece story, like you can watch the original trilogy as a one piece story and the prequels as a one piece story. The Last Jedi, I now feel a little bit better about, and I still love The Force Awakens, but now one thing that bothered me about that really has just made me even more sad, and that was I just wished to God they had pulled off just one scene of the big three together. I just it if I felt sad about it and lost when The Force Awakens came out, and then when right before Last Jedi came out and Carrie passed away, it made it even worse. Like that sad feeling, and The Rise of Skywalker just solidified it because they did Leia's story really well. Like her contribution to the story in that movie was amazing, seeing as how she's not here on this earth anymore. The CGI looked extremely realistic, so it didn't take me out of the whole I know she's not there type thing. So that was well done. How they integrated her into the story, her ultimate sacrifice of saying, okay, she has one last chance to just give everything of herself to rescue Ben, which I thought was well done. The heartstrings are really yanked pretty hard when you see Han, and knowing that Harrison Ford came back one last time to do that scene with Kylo or Ben at that point, just makes me just, God bless, man. One time, just one scene, because we had Han and Leia in Force Awakens. We got to see Luke and Leia in Last Jedi. And dude, one scene, God bless. Anyway, the overall, just the things of joy in the movie. When you see Lando for the first time and Chewie kind of like almost moves everybody out of the way to get to him to hug him. To me, as a lifelong fan, if you do small stuff like that, to me, it can almost erase anything that might not work for the rest of the movie just because of that emotional. It's not, and the nice thing about it, they're not trying to mess with you. They're not trying to pull the nostalgia tit card in a bad way, because it's purely logical. He hadn't seen Lando probably in forever. He takes the helmet off. He doesn't know it's Lando. Takes the helmet off, and you see, Lando, and then Chewie's face, like, that's pure, that's simple, but that's impactful. I mean, at least to me. I mean, to me, I always see the most in the smallest of things. seeing, I'm really glad. I was really surprised about how good of a part C3PO played. Like literally, that is hands down C3PO's best performance. Like I loved. I just loved everything about it. It fit with the story. It wasn't forced. It wasn't like, okay, you feel like they're trying to make a part for C3PO. They're, just to get him in. It was a really good part. He played a really integral, small but yet poignant role in the movie. His journey made sense. His journey furthered the narrative along. The interactions with Poe and Finn, off the charts. Pin and Foe. Poe and Finn, for the very first time, felt like Han and Luke. And to me, you just can't get any better than Luke and Han and their interactions, and then Han and Leia, and hell, Han and Leia, Poe and Rey felt Han and Leia-ish, just the quips back and forth, the just fussing at each other, you didn't have it in The Force Awakens because they were just trying to build up to it. They had separated them all in The Last Jedi, so you didn't get that. So this one, my God, when you put them, Episode 9 showed you how good it could have been, like all 3 episodes, had they had that group together. That group is really, to me, that group really works well when they're all together. Finn's kind of iffy on his own. Poe's kind of iffy on his own. I was trying real hard to get on board, get with the Rey mythos and find out all of her backstory and find out how she fit in with Luke, blah, blah, blah. But you put them together, then there it is. That's the proof. They were excellent. They were as close. This might be sacrilege, but nothing will replace the big 3. Full stop. I don't care. You can't convince me otherwise. And even though they were still a long ways off from the magic of the big 3, to me, this was the closest a trio has been, in my humble opinion, to the big 3 as far as chemistry-wise in the movie. How they played back and forth off each other, how there was animosity, anger, fussing, heroism, bonding. We've got to do this together. Nobody goes off on their own anymore. None of that shit. We all have to succeed in this together. We're all in this together, blah, blah, blah. That really worked. Babu Frick, that was the Porgs were like a novelty thing in The Last Jedi. The Porgs, unfortunately, got on my nerves. They were cute for a second, and I'm like, nah. Babu Frick, on the other hand, that was next level. Babu Frick reminded me of seeing Wicket for the first time in Return of the Jedi and how playful he was, with Leia, even though the Ewoks didn't talk in a language that you can understand, just like Babu Frick didn't. You could still pull the overall underlying narrative of what's going on, even though the language is something that you don't understand. You could tell what they were trying to emote very well, meaning the Ewoks. Babu Frick was kind of Babu Frick reminded me of that he was excellent. That then his interactions with C3PO, and seeing C3PO go Sith red eyes and speak in a different voice and give the whereabouts of the wreckage of the second Death Star. That was wonderful. Now the nostalgic, oh my God, this is amazing moments is what I just referenced with C3PO, saying that the wreckage of where you'll find the Wayfinder is on the wreckage of the such and such other moon of Endor. Because if you look at the information, you've got Endor itself. And most people think okay, Return of the Jedi, that was Endor. No, that was the forest moon of Endor. Endor is we've never really seen Endor itself, Endor Prime. So and this was I would just have to call it the ocean moon of Endor, and they probably have an ice moon of Endor and a desert moon of Endor. So it was cool that they went back to where it all was finalized the previous time to make the finality of it hit home. That when you're in, they had the most, God, I can't even think. Just the scale of having to close 9 chapters or 9 episodes of a 40-plus year saga, the pressure on this movie to me was, in my estimation, just through the roof. So I think like whatever they did, it could never be perfect around the whole fandom. But for me, bringing Lando back, seeing Lando and the Falcon, I'm a 41-year-old man, but I admit 3 or 4 times, I straight up just lost it, like crying, tearing up. Lando and the Falcon, that's it. I mean, straight up just, man tears. When Chewie finds out that Leia died, oh, Jesus Christ, I did not see that one coming. Like his reaction and him like waving everybody off and him dropping to his knees and whatever yell he made, like he didn't even react that bad when Han died. And Han was everything to him. And he crumbled to his knees when he heard Leia died. And that just, Jesus Christ, man. You can't be a fan of any of this and see Chewie do that and it not get you. If you are, congratulations, but there's no way. There's no way. I just like seeing Lando and the Falcon, my eyes welled up, and like 1 tear, maybe 2 hit down my face. When Chewie did that, I was doing like that deep breathing cry, because you saw his world was just crumbling when he lost Leia. Because just think about it, he had already lost Han, he lost Luke, and then he lost Leia. I'm thinking about it, and I was just like, dude. And anyway, so cried then. When Lando takes the helmet off in the beginning and Chewie moves everybody out of the way to get to Lando to hug him, again, you cried. You can't not do that. You can't not cry because Chewie is so pure, and when he loves you, he loves you. When he wants to rip your arms off, he'll rip your arms off. But when he loves you, like that's all she wrote. When Chewie got the medal at the end of the movie, I cried again, because again, it's one of the biggest running jokes in all of Star Wars, the fact that Han and Luke got medals at the end of A New Hope, and Chewbacca was just as big of a part of it, and he never got a medal. So the fact that he got a medal finally, that was what Leia left him, shit, I mean, done. And maybe it might not have realized or hit everybody. The last time I cried was when Leia passed away. I didn't cry because Leia passed away, because we all knew that was coming. I passed away when I realized that the only person, or even anything that was with her when she passed, was R2. And then it finally hit me, because I'm such a fan of the fandom. I see every little thing, the small things too. Is like I just realized, I'm thinking, holy shit, R2 was there when Leia was born, and then R2 is the one that's there the moment she takes her last breath. And it just hit me like a ton of bricks. I was like, damn, dude. I was like, R2's been there since day one. He was there the moment that Leia and Luke took their first breath, and he was there when she took her last. And plus, R2 loved Luke. I mean, he was always more close to Luke than any other droid was to Luke. C-3PO knew Luke and always talking, but him and R2, there's a reason why he gave all the info to R2. He shared his secrets to R2. when the Jedi Temple was burning down, who was beside Luke? R2. That's his. They are peanut butter and jelly. And then he had just lost Luke, and then Leia dies. I don't know. It's just it's small little things that hit you that go, oh. I'm sure probably a lot of people maybe realize that, but if not, I thought it was like a cool thing to think, like, man, that there's no more way to go full circle and close the story out than to close it up like that. From first breath to last breath, R2 was a constant. He was always there. Full stop. That shit gave me goosebumps while I was crying. Anyway, I thought the Emperor was good. I thought the storyline with Rey was interesting. Not perfect, but interesting. I was vested in it. Kylo was full on Vader in this one, which I liked because he finally got to that point. The other movies he was building up to it. This one he was straight up Vader. The dyad connection between the two, that was well done. And just at the very end, like when when all the Star Destroyers are going down and they cut to Endor. Cool fun fact: the two Ewoks you see are Wicket and Wicket's child. Well, the cool thing is the people in the suits are Warwick Davis, who played Wicket when he was smaller, or when Wicket was younger, and then the smaller Ewok beside Wicket was Wicket's child. Warwick Davis's real life son was playing Wicket's son. So I thought that was kind of badass, how they interconnected that. Again, the whole full circle thing. Seeing Bespin, Cloud City again for like a second was badass. It harkens back to my favorite Star Wars movie, which of course is Empire Strikes Back. Hearing all the Jedi's voice finally come back, hearing Mace. Hell, we heard Mace, Anakin, Illuminati, Ahsoka, Kanan, Luke, Yoda, Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan. I think that was it. There might be no, not Barriss. There was one more. I can't think of the name right now. But hearing all of them, and tying up Rey's storyline, her burying the sabers at the end at the Lars homestead was that one. If that didn't get you in the chest, again, I don't know what could make you happy at that point. That they seeing Leia have a saber, and then the cutaway to back when Leia and Luke were training, to know that, man, Leia was like within an inch of being a Jedi herself, and knowing that she had a saber, and Rey being able to use her saber, and Ben being able to use his mom's saber, and then burying it for safety, and then Rey turning on her bow staff saber. I mean, it was just to me, it satisfied everything that I could think that I needed. Could I have wished for more in some places? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to nitpick it, because out of the sequel movies, this was hands down my favorite. I like Force Awakens a lot. I had some difficulty with The Last Jedi, but now I've come to reappreciate it, because I finally got to see the whole story. I got to see where they were taking it, and The Rise of Skywalker not only closed it out to a satisfactory level for me, but in turn made the previous movie a little bit better. Not totally better, but made it more enjoyable, to where if you watch them in succession, you can go, all right, this was pretty decent. Same thing with the prequels. And the original trilogy to me is untouchable and sacred, so that's not even up for discussion. So those are my thoughts and feelings on The Rise of Skywalker. I hope it shares some smiles and some insight on what the movie was. I'm probably going to watch it another 3-4 more times now, since we're all on quarantine for the foreseeable future. So hope you all are doing well, staying safe, and I will see you the next time.